goodness to share with you today. This is an area that a lot of people really struggle with, okay? And that is finding your passion. There are things that we're passionate about. There are things that we are good at. There are things that God has put into us that we have a talent for that someone else may not. And we all have that in us. You are not exempt from that at all. Just because you don't know what that is or what it looks like, you are not exempt from that at all. Passion comes from inside of you. It's not a career that you choose for money, but it's a career that you choose for heart. Okay, does that make sense? And if you make money from it, then that's just an added bonus. But a lot of people feel like, I have this passion and I need to learn how to make money doing it. But it's not always about the money. You can have a passionately filled life doing the things and growing on the things that God has put in you, the talents that He has put in you. And you may not make a dime from it, but you are going to have the most fulfilled and joyful life because of you serving others and things like that, okay? So you making money from your passion is just an added benefit. If you want to make money from it and you feel like you have a talent that you can make money on, I have a coaching group. I can help you do that. But I also want you to understand that this is something inside of us that you do, whether you make money from it or not. I hope that makes sense a little bit. The things you are passionate about are not random, okay? They are your calling. Our lives are busy. I get it, okay? Your life is busy. My life is busy. And that is just where we are. Most of the time, we are at the bottom of our list when it comes to taking care of things. How are you ever going to find the time to find your passion? You are never, ever going to make money that is endless. There are always going to be things in your life that create challenges, okay? But that doesn't mean that you can't have a fulfilled life and enjoy the things that you are doing. And so this is going to help you get on that path so that at the end of your road, you can look back and know that you had a fulfilled life and that you did everything you could, even with missteps along the way. Giving yourself permission to pursue a hobby or creative outlet that is in line with your passion is crucial to your mental health. Now, let me say that this does not mean I need you all to go out and figure out what your creative hobby is. Not everybody has a creative hobby. Not everybody has a creative side. And so what I'm trying to say in that comment or in that quote though, is that if you are not doing something that brings you joy, your mental health is going to suffer greatly. Because if you are constantly giving and giving and giving to other people and you are not doing something to fill you up with that meets the needs of the things inside of you from the passion and the calling that you have inside of you, it is going to greatly affect your mental health. The first part of figuring out how you want to spend your life is figuring out what brings you enjoyment. Now, I am reading this, and these are some of the handouts that I've created. This is all my stuff, but I want you to know that I'm going to read some of it, and then I'm going to interject some thoughts. It's just going to keep me on track, and like I said, I can give this handout to you guys. What things do you love to do more than anything else? I want you to sit down and for 1 week, really track the things that you do during the day, during the week, and figure out at the end of the day, each day, when you do a so-called time audit. I've done this in my business coaching group. I have my ladies do a time audit to really figure out where they're spending their time. So at the end of the day, when you have gone through what parts of your day did you feel the most joy? What parts of your day did you enjoy doing the most? There are going to be days that are just monotonous and a grind. I get that, okay? But this is going to help you if you are struggling with finding out what your passion is. Doing this time audit per se is going to help you figure out what those things are that you enjoy, okay? And then we can hone in on those areas and help work and make a plan and a roadmap, which we're going to talk about a roadmap here in a future week on how to implement those things into your daily life, okay? But we have to figure out what those things are first, because not everybody knows that. Or maybe you know that, maybe you have something inside of you that you think that you're working on, but you still feel unfulfilled. You still feel this something inside of you that is just telling you there's gotta be more to life. We are all born with an innate desire to do, be, or create something that brings us happiness, okay? We are all born with it. That could be leading and teaching, singing and worshiping, painting and designing. I mean, the list could go on and on. No matter how old you are, it is not too late to find it if you already haven't done so. Sorry, I did not make sense what I typed there, so I need to reword that a little bit. Maybe you don't consider yourself to be creative, and that's okay. You are. It just may not look creative to you, okay? It's easy to call me a creative because I create for people. I create designs. I don't consider myself an artist. I don't consider myself a painter, but those are the talents I have, okay? So it's easy to call me a creative. Let me give an example. Maybe you enjoy being on a team in your church that serves people. Maybe you're the person that manages shut-ins or manages a food train to get foods to people that need it. Maybe they've been in the hospital or whatever. That is still creative, okay? Because you are still creating something from your passions. So I want you to understand that creativity is not just about art. It's not just about art and design. If you are able to create something tangible in the world, then you are creating something from your passions and your talents that God put inside of you. It does not have to manifest itself in art or design or anything like that, okay? So I want you to kind of shift your mindset when you hear the word creative. We are all creative. We all bring things to the world and create things or actions or things like that. We all create something to put into the world, and it can manifest itself in so many different ways. I hope that helps you understand a little bit. I know that I am a creative in the sense that you know creative. In the definition of the word, that we were born understanding what creative meant, but I want you to get rid of that definition of creative, because the outward service, the outward product, the outward whatever it is that you are creating to put into the world, even if you're just serving other people, you are creating something from your talents and gifts that are inside of you. I want you to just really change your mindset when I say creative, okay? Every time that I say creative, I want you to look at it kind of the way that I just explained it. You know, what are you passionate about? What drives you? What are you interested in learning more about? What do you want to spend your time on? In order to answer these questions, what are you passionate about? What drives you? What are you interested in learning more about? And what do you want to spend your time on? Think about what you do throughout the week, like I just talked about, doing a time audit. And at the end of each day, look at the things you did that you enjoyed. I'm going to use an example of money. Money and paying bills is a monotonous grind for, I don't know, I'm just gonna throw throw a number out there, and I'm just guesstimating on this number, okay? Don't quote me. But I would guesstimate that paying bills and dealing with money, 80% of America probably hates doing that. Maybe I just think the number is high just because I hate paying bills. I hate managing money. And that is because I've never been good at it. I have gotten better as I've grown, but I've never been good at it. But there are a percentage of people who love doing that. It brings them joy and happiness when they're able to manage money. So that is something, if that is something that you are passionate about, then think about how you can implement that into your life. Maybe, number one, if you're a mom who has kids, that is definitely a way that you can bring that to fruition and help your kids manage their money, teach them ways that help them make better decisions throughout their life. Maybe because you are a good money manager, if you are involved in your church, it is something that you could be their treasurer, their treasurer, yes, things like that. So, and that is a volunteer position. But if it's something that you enjoy and it's something that you have a talent and a passion about, then you are gonna feel fulfilled. Your passion is something that keeps you going, makes you happy, something you are interested in learning more about, or something that you want to spend time on. Okay, those are the things that if you think you are following your passion and it doesn't meet any of those things, then you need to rethink what it is that you think fulfills you. Ask yourself this: what is something that people ask for my help on? Or what is something that people compliment me on? Think about that. How does creativity fit into your current life versus how you want it to fit in? So think about those two things. Just reflect on those two things. Think about where you collect inspiration. Do you have a dream board at home? Do you look at Pinterest? Do you exercise in nature? Do you like photography? Do you enjoy spending time with children? Learning new recipes? All these things. What is it that you enjoy doing and that you enjoy learning? Who inspires you? Okay, if you have something, I have people in my field that inspire me, that I glean information from. We talked about that last week, and using the talent that other people have to glean information for you to help you grow in that area. So who inspires you? Who is someone that maybe they're a photographer and they inspire you, or maybe you're like this mom. I am inspired by the calmness that she has with her children when I'm run ragged and I want to lock my kids in a bathroom for 5 minutes sometimes, or lock myself in a bathroom, okay? So think about who inspires you. Who do you look up to? What kind of music do you listen to when you want to be encouraged and lifted up? When you're struggling and you're having a tough time, what kind of music do you listen to help you get in that clear mindset? When you are in need of creativity, where do you go? Do you call a friend? Do you look on social media? Do you spend time in nature? Think about all these things. Now, I'm giving you tools to help you hone in and figure out what this looks like for you. And ultimately, you have to do the work and you have to put the time in to actually figure that out and do that. Okay? I can give you the tools. Same thing like, you can lead a horse in water, but you can't make him drink. I can give you the tools and help you along the way, but it's not just gonna come. I will tell you that if you don't put the work in, it's just not always gonna come. I use Patrick Mahomes. I'll use him as an example. I live near Kansas City. We like the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is a young quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. And he has a talent in football, okay? He worked at it. He figured out what that talent was. He worked at it. It didn't just come to him. The Chiefs just didn't randomly one day say, hey, We want to give you a contract. You know, he worked at it. So that is a little extreme, okay? But I'm telling you that you have the tools and you have the path put in front of you, but you still have to put in the work. No one's going to do that for you. Okay, if you want what that vision of that girl or boy at the end of your life that we talked about last week, if you want that vision to come to fruition, then you have to put in the work to do it. And it's not always easy, okay? But it's going to create so much fulfillment for you at the end of the road. So now what? When you've done this, now what? I want you to look and see if there's a pattern that keeps showing up. If your passion is cooking, do you tend to steer toward desserts? Are you inspired by presentation? Do you enjoy baking or cooking? Do you enjoy baking because of the smells and it brings up memories of something? What is it about what you enjoy that brings you even more passion, more fulfillment? Maybe you take your passion of cooking, okay? So you have that. You figured out, okay, I have a passion cooking. What is it about cooking that you enjoy? Do you love the art of it? Do you love cooking for others and the what it brings to you when you serve others by taking them meals? What is it about that? Just dig a little bit deeper. And this may take some time, ladies, okay? This is not something that you're gonna figure out today, okay? I want you to really take some time, because only when we hone in on that are we able to really then start enjoying and putting in the work, because we have a clear vision of what that looks like for us. Have you had achievements in this area? And if you have, remember how it made you feel and try to find that again. Have you had failures? We're gonna have failures, even when things that we are passionate, even when we're doing things we're passionate about. I've had failures as a business owner, but it propels me to do something differently sometimes, go a different path, even still in that passion. So even though you have failures, it doesn't mean that you're like, okay, well, I thought that was a gift and a passion, and I screwed that up. So now what? If you have defined that this is what your passion and your gift is, you're not going to be free from failures. It's just not going to happen, you guys. I have a journal exercise that I'm going to just talk through this real quick. But again, this is something that you really need the handout on, because I'm going to help you identify your top 3 passions. You're going to answer each one of these questions and then one by one compare with the other, okay? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 questions. And I have adapted this from a book called The Passion Test, and it was written by Janet and Chris Atwood, okay? So I do not get credit for this. I just took a few things out of that book and gave you a small snippet to try to help you find your top 3 passions. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna answer number 1. When I was a kid, I dreamed of. Think about what you dreamed of as a kid. Number 2, I can't pass up a movie or a book about. What is that? Number 3, if I played hooky from work for a week, I would spend my time doing what? Number 4, most people don't know this about me, but I really enjoy blank. I am the go-to person when my friends need help with what? And after you answer all these, then we're going to go back. I'm going to show you how to compare. If I could star in my own how-to TV show, it would be about... I want you to answer all these, even if you're not creative, okay? In the sense that we just talked about, in the definition that you were raised understanding what creative meant. If I were to make a handmade gift, it would involve what? If I tried it only once or twice, okay, sorry, let me back up. I've tried it only once or twice, but I enjoy. So what are some things that you've done in your life that you've only tried once or twice, but they intrigue you? You enjoy them. The closest I've come to a runner's high is when I'm what? If I won first prize in a talent show, it would be for blank, okay? So you're gonna take those 10 questions and then you're gonna compare number 1 to number 2. And then out of number 1 and number 2, which one speaks to you more? Say it was number 1. So now you're gonna compare number 1 and number 3, okay? So then, which one of those speaks to you more about what you answered? Maybe it's 3. So now you're gonna compare number 3 and number 4. Which one of those speaks to you more? Okay, so you're gonna whittle this down to find your top 3 passions. This is gonna help you figure out what that is, okay? So I'm giving you the tools and I'm giving you ways of how you can hone in on what those are, okay, with these questions. Here are some other things to think about. What are some things you did as a child that brought you happiness? Was it building with Legos and creating? Was it playing dress up with Barbies? Was it lining up all of your dolls and animals and leading a classroom and teaching? Yes, I did that. I even went as far as to collect old textbooks from, I don't remember where we got our old textbooks. But number 1, I love books. I love having them in my hand. Just like my calendar that I have here. I cannot, for the life of me, get my calendar digital because I love having that book in my hand and writing. I remember as a little girl, I would get textbooks and I would teach. I would use my dresser. I would turn it around. It was a chest of drawers. I would use it like that was my desk, and I would teach my little stuffed animals, my dolls, whatever. Okay, so think about what you did as a child that brought you happiness. Was it listening to the latest song and listening and learning every word to sing it or play it on an instrument? Okay, remember when you don't do it now because I used to record radio, okay, songs on the radio, record them. That way I could sit. You're also having books, yes. So I used to record, and I know I'm not the only one that did this, but you recorded so that I could listen and then stop and rewind, and I would learn every word of that song. I remember I used to have a keyboard, and I wanted to learn how to play it so bad. And so I would take music from the radio and I would listen to it and figure out what that note sounded like on the radio and what it sounded like on which key of my keyboard. And I would teach myself how to play this song. Now, why I didn't do anything with that, I don't know, because I feel like I had a gift with that. Because I remember my mom saying one time, she's like, you listen to something and were able to figure out the notes and play that, okay? So think about those things that you did as a child that you enjoyed. Maybe you enjoyed being in the kitchen with your mom or your grandma and cooking or baking. And when you have those things, I want you to ask yourself how do you still incorporate parts of your childhood into your daily life now? I'm not telling you to go back and play with Barbies, but that is part of what you can bring into your current life. So maybe you liked playing, and I know I'm tailoring this to women, okay? There may be men on here as well. But I know I'm tailoring this to women, and maybe you played with Barbies. Maybe you loved Barbie. So what does that look like today? When I'm telling you to bring that into your current life, I'm not telling you to pull out your Barbies and play with Barbies. Although if you want to sit on the floor and play with your 2-year-old, your little girl, or your 5-year-old little girl and play with your American Girl doll or whatever, do it. What I'm saying, what was it about the Barbies that you played with that you enjoyed? If you were you interested in styling the dolls? Did you like taking their clothes off, putting them on, putting a different outfit on them? Did you like combing their hair? So if you were interested in styling the Barbie doll, maybe it means you have a passion for style, makeup, and beauty. So I'm asking you to think deeper than just, I liked painting or whatever. I like baking. I'm asking you to think a little bit deeper. What is it about the things that you enjoy? What are the things about that you enjoy? Okay, so I want you to just dig deeper, think deep. What was it about the Barbies that you loved playing with? If you were financially secure and didn't need a paycheck, what would you be doing? I mean, that's a big one. That's a pretty common one that you can ask yourself. What would you be doing if money didn't matter? What specific actions can you let go of? Work, people obligation, stuff that drags you down. Find your passion. Finding your passion is as much about removing what you don't like from your life as it is about finding what you do. You have to make room for your passion by getting rid of dead weight. If there are people or things in your life that are they contributing to that? Now, this doesn't mean that you need to go out and get a whole new circle of friends or completely quit your job and live on love and do your passion. What I'm telling you is that sometimes you need to think about the people that you are surrounded by. I've heard before, I know Jennifer Allwood has said it, I'm not sure where it originated, but you are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with. So who are the 5 people that you hang out with? And what are they bringing to your life that helps you fulfill the gifts that you have inside of you? Sometimes it's hard to see the forest for the trees. Okay? I had a group of friends that I didn't realize wasn't probably good for me. I didn't realize that until I wasn't in it anymore. So sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees, and sometimes you really need to do a lot of deep reflection and deep thinking. And maybe, you think these people are good to be influenced by and around, but maybe they're not. Now, it doesn't mean that you just need to go out and I'm never going to talk to this girl again. Okay, it doesn't mean that you can't be friends with her, but you need to think about how much influence that person may have on your life, because it may be not even holding you back, but it may just be keeping you stagnant and not pushing you to get to that girl at the end of your life that you said you wanted to be. So I know where you guys are. I am still where you guys are. Just because you guys see me here and you guys see me doing what I enjoy and you guys allow me to do what I enjoy, it still doesn't mean that I don't question. If you want to go back through the live and just kind of like we talked about when I used to record a song, pause, rewind, play, pause, rewind, play. If you want to go back through the replay and write these down, you can do that. Or make sure you're on my email list and then you have it in front of you. And it's just going to be easier to say, okay, between 1 and 7, I would pick 7. 7 speaks to me more. But this one right here, it's going to be a lot easier if you have the handout. People with great passion can make the impossible happen, okay? We all have a passion. We all have something that brings us joy when we do it, and we're gonna figure out what that is, because the ultimate goal of your life is to get to the end of the road and say that you led a fulfilled life, all right? I had said last week in my live, someone else said I needed to hear it, and I believe that no matter how many people see this, if it influenced or impacted one person, then my job mattered. Okay, then I did my job. I have this whole Snippets from My Soul series that has been on my heart, and I share it with you guys. And if it impacts just one person, then that means that mattered. I'm not out to change the world, ladies. I'm not out to, although I would love this to reach as many people as it can, because there are people out there that need this information. I just want it to help you.